Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. So in today's video, I thought to make a comparison video between the M1 iMac and the 27-inch Intel iMac. So as you saw in my previous videos, I've unboxed the M1 iMac. I've made a full review about this powerful machine, but I haven't yet compared it with the iMac 27-inch Intel. I've used this iMac for about a year now, and I know exactly how it works. I've added way too much videos on it than the M1 iMac, but that doesn't matter because I have also edited some videos on the M1 iMac, and I now have an opinion about both machines. So let me start with telling you what the specs are on the Intel iMac. So it's a 27-inch iMac with a 72 gigabyte of memory RAM. It has an Intel Core i7 processor. And I went for the AMD Radeon Pro 5700 XT 16 gigabyte. So as you see, the full package. This iMac costs me around 3,200 euros at the time. I went for the full package because I wanted to edit videos without having those fans running on the background. And I need to say there are some times when I have Photoshop and Final Cut Pro at the same time rendering, those fans will turn on. There's no escape to that. On the flip side, we have the M1 iMac with just 8 gigabyte of memory RAM and the M1 chip, and you all know what the M1 chip is all about. It's the 8-core GPU and CPU all together in one silicon chip. And the big question is, which one is more powerful? Well, there are several YouTube videos testing which one is powerful, and every time the M1 won the race. Is it really that of a powerful machine that you just have to spend that $1,400 on it, or should you just go for a 27-inch iMac Intel? Well, to give you a quick answer, don't buy the Intel iMac. That's something of the past. There's no way the Intel chip will come back to the iMac. As for now, people are just speculating about the M1X or the M2 chip that may come out in a 27-inch iMac or maybe the Mac Pro version. So some of you are just happy with text editing and having a beautiful furniture in the living room or in the bathroom. For those people, I would say just go for the M1 iMac 24-inch. But if you are a video editor, you may want to wait for the 27-inch iMac. Reason for that is because you will get a bigger display, and we all want bigger displays when we do video editing. If you are a video editor, you know the timeline. You need to have a lot of state for that timeline, and the 24-inch iMac is just a bit smaller than you may expect. It's something that won't work for video editors. That's my opinion, maybe because I've edited my videos way too long on the iMac 27-inch, and I know there are people that edit even videos on a MacBook Pro. For those people, I would say, yeah, just go for the 24-inch iMac. But if you like to have a lot of room to have multiple displays in one display, then definitely wait for the 27-inch iMac. As you see here, I'm just testing how far I can go with this iMac. I'm just opening a bunch of programs and see if those vents are just quiet or start running as crazy, and to my expectations those vents went quiet. I didn't hear them because I didn't turn the programs on. I just had them on the background, and what the Mac does is keeping those programs on the background without turning them on. Here I have the iMac M1, and I just went through a Final Cut video file just to show you guys how fast this iMac is. And Now I'm opening a bunch of programs just to see if this iMac can take the heat. And as you see, it does. I can just multitask between multiple programs without letting the processor overload. And to my expectation, it worked fine. The iMac could handle all of that, even with Final Cut running on the background with 4K files. And as you see, I open all those programs and the iMac is just running fine. I know from experience, if you just keep doing this and have multiple programs running on the background, that way the CPU will just turn on to 50, maybe 60%. In here, the CPU kept around 9 to 20%, and that's not much at all. 6% or 8% with Final Cut running on the background with 4K files and a bunch of other programs. That's pretty stable, if you would ask me. As you see, the memory RAM is on 75%. That's a bit on the high end. 8 GB of RAM is just way too low to have on a iMac, especially if you would use your iMac for Final Cut Pro or maybe Premiere, or all the other Adobe software that just cost a lot of memory to have them running on the background while doing other stuff like watching videos on YouTube and all of that. Just keep that in mind. If you go for the iMac M1, just choose the 16 GB version, especially when the iMac M1 doesn't have the option to upgrade your RAM storage at a later time. That's maybe a con, if you would ask me, compared to the iMac 27-inch Intel. That iMac is still upgradable. You can just upgrade your RAM later on. You can just order RAM on Amazon and stick them on your iMac. And I've done just that with my iMac 27-inch Intel. I bought the 8 GB of RAM at the beginning, but I just discovered that that is not working at all. And the downside of having a low storage on your RAM is that your computer starts saving all that data on your storage, and on the long run that may be harmful for your storage. So keep that in mind. When it comes to the iMac M1, just buy the 16 GB version, or just wait for a 27-inch iMac, and I know for sure that your options will be a lot more than what we have now between the 8 GB and the 16 GB. I know for sure that when the 17 or the 27-inch iMac will be introduced, we will get like 16 GB up to maybe 64 GB or maybe 128 GB. There's just one thing I want to note on that. Apple is known for asking way too much money for RAM than needed. Yeah, I hope on the 27-inch iMac they will bring the option back to upgrade your Mac. That was just sweet. Maybe we will see that in the future, maybe not. That's an unknown situation for now. And yeah, basically my final verdict on this video: should you buy the 27 Intel iMac or 24-inch iMac? And I would say don't buy any of those. Just wait for the 27 iMac and then you can make your decision. Because then you know what specs are coming in the 27-inch iMac. I already know that design will be the same as this one, but the specs will be a lot more upgradable than what we have. Maybe the M1X or the M2 chip will be introduced in the 27-inch iMac. That we don't know yet, but just keep that in mind. Just keep it in mind that you just have to wait. I believe around December they will introduce the 27-inch iMac. So for a couple of months to wait, I think that's quite reasonable. So there are a couple of things I haven't touched on. I haven't touched on the design of both machines. Maybe I can do it just real quick. Well, the iMac we have, or the M1 iMac, is a flat design. And the other one, the 27-inch iMac, Intel iMac, has this bump on the back. Yeah, that's something that it's not noticeable. I mean, you just put your iMac on your desk, and to me, the most important part is that that machine needs to be just powerful, especially if it's a desktop. If it's a laptop, yeah, obviously you want to have a laptop that looks good, that looks sleek, that you can just put in your backpack without thinking about it. But for the iMac, I'm especially gravitating towards, yeah, having a good looking machine on your desk. But the most important part is that that machine needs to be powerful to do all kind of tasks like video editing and such. That was it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.